Good morning, moms in real estate. It's official for me, not for Chrissy. I don't know about Randy, probably Randy because you're homeschool kids, but we're done with spring break. So I'm
Ours
like so happy.
starting.
Lucky.
I know.
Ours
so I'm like,
is spring break for us.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, well, I guess just for me, I'm back to routine. We had so much fun off, but anyways, I'm excited because my friend Chrissy is teaching today. So everybody welcome Chrissy Valentine from Gilbert, Arizona. So Chrissy, why don't you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about what you're going to be teaching and just dive into all the things.
So I'm Chrissy. I'm mom. I have three kids, actually, not two. I have three, and we are still on spring break. They go back tomorrow. Been in real estate for 8 years. I was a social worker before this. Came into the system. Came into real estate thinking I'd just have fun doing it, and then realized we need to have processes and systems and all this stuff set up. So what I'm teaching today is what I've kind of learned over the years through lots of mistakes through how do you build a predictable pipeline. So I can get more into it when we start talking though.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I don't know if any other mom is listening to this, that we were talking a couple minutes ago, like what is the random Monday off after a break? And I don't know if that's an Arizona thing, but I feel like this is like this new thing that I'm like, what are the schools doing?
I think it gives the teachers a day to acclimate back in. So it like lets them get back in the classroom and get everything in order before they actually have the kids.
Okay, that makes sense to me, but I feel like it definitely every time throws me off. Last night we were double checking, like, do we have school? Do we not have school? We don't know. So anyways, oh, hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Good morning, Katie. Well, we're so excited because you're right, Chrissy, like, especially as a mom in real estate, the ups and downs and the lack of a predictable pipeline is a huge struggle. So I'm so excited that you're going to walk us through this today.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. So.
And we've got your slide up, so we're ready for you to just take it away.
Well, I will just start on then. So today I'm teaching about what a predictable pipeline system is and how do we build momentum and not burnout. When I started real estate, and I'll get into this too, was just getting to the unpredictable rhythm of what I call like a roller coaster in real estate, where some months you have business and then you go like a dry spell and then you have another dry, like then you get another deal and then you have another dry spell. And I think in this day and age, we're seeing more and more of that. The market is down. We're in like the lowest 3 years that we've had, well, compared to before. But how do you build something that's consistent? And I love this kind of market because this is where we can build systems and build the skills to be able to scale. So I know we talked a little about this, but who am I? So I did spend 15 years as a social worker in foster care and adoption, and I learned the meaning of like home, safety, and belonging and story. All of our clients have stories they want to tell, and our job is to guide them through this journey. And now I'm a realtor, a mentor, a former team leader. I spent 5 years leading one of the largest teams here in the East Valley. We're closing up to 400 homes a year. And through that, I learned a lot of systems, a lot of how not to do it, and a little bit of what to do. So I'm just here to share that today. And then where I really am is I'm at the gym way too much. I like doing things that I'm perfectly average at, and sarcasm and Disney are my favorite things in the world. So that is me.
I have to pause real quick because she says she's at the gym way too much. You guys, if you see her work out, she's like an animal. She's crazy. What's the workout you do? The high rocks?
I did high rocks. Yes, I've done it twice. So yeah, it's a great challenge. It's fun. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's super fun when you cross that finish line. So
she's very fit.
Yeah, I like doing good things. So thank you. So hopping right into this though, like the funnel frenzy. So this is real estate, really. Like my first year of real estate, I came in and I thought, oh, this is going to be really easy. I'm going to show 3 homes and they're going to buy one like HGTV says, and it never works out like that. And so I tried all of these things. I've done the cold calls. I've done the expireds. I've done the FSBOs. I did the door knocking, boosted some ads. I did team leads, team referrals, and I did open houses. So if there's any other like lead sources you guys can think of, I probably tried it. And all of these funnels kind of led to the same frustration because I had only worked on the top of the funnel. I would make the phone calls. I would do all the things, but then I never had a system in place. So if any of you guys out there are feeling that, you're not alone. I joke a lot about this. I cried a lot my first year in real estate, in the car, cried a lot, ate a lot of pizza, ate a lot of ice cream, and watched a lot of SVU because I don't know why that just makes me feel more alive at that point. So
SVU is life. We went to New York and we watched a lot of SVU and then went to the courthouse steps. So I feel that.
The actual courthouse steps where they stand on?
We did. That was like what we wanted to do in New York.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, it got me through my first year in real estate. So, so leading into that, like it leads into these myths that we believe. Like with that, like the myth that they'll reach out when they're ready. Because I would build really great rapport with people when I met them, and they didn't reach out. And not because they didn't like me, but because people don't follow agents. They follow what the clear next step is. And so, sorry, I'm clicking on the screens and it's working. Okay. So there's a path that every single lead follows when they meet you. And that journey looks like this. First, you meet and greet them. This is any lead source that you have: door knocking, cold calls, expireds, open houses. Anybody that you meet follows the same journey. You meet and greet them. You have some rapport and trust building with them. You have that conversational back and forth where you get to know them, you build the trust with them. And honestly, this is where most agents stop. They just stop right here and say, oh, they like me, they're going to use me. And guess what? That doesn't happen. And if you're out there, I know I can't see anyone talking, but if you're out there, it doesn't happen that way. What's missing is these last 3 steps. And the next one is a value proposition, having a solid value proposition that you can offer to a client on why they should work with you and what is the value and what problem can you solve for them that they can't solve for themselves. Many agents miss this step. If you have friends and family that have ever bought with anybody else, this is the step you've missed. You have great rapport, but you didn't drop a value proposition why they should work with you. And I'm really good at selling homes is not a value proposition that works. So if you don't have one, we need to craft one for you. And the next step is objection handling. There's going to be objections. I know a lot of agents that shy away from objections. Objections are actually a great thing. They're a sign that your conversation's moving forward, that they trust you enough to give you an objection for you to handle. So getting really good at doing that is the next step. And then finally, setting an appointment with them. And I put it here, this is the goal for everybody, to sit down with them and have a dedicated appointment where there's an agreement at the end that is signed. You might not sign them all, but there's an appointment that's set at the end of this entire process to sit down, whether you're a good fit to work together or not. And the truth is, every single conversation needs a clear next step. And if you don't define it, your clients aren't going to, or they're not even clients at this point, they're leads. The leads don't know where to go. And until you define that for them, they're not going to know. They're waiting for you to set that for them. So that's myth number 1, is getting an appointment set. We want them to follow this journey. They're not going to reach out when you're ready. You're the one that has to define that for them. And then myth 2, this is just a numbers game. And I was guilty of this. Just do more. We hear that a lot in real estate. And as moms in real estate, it's overwhelming. We're already doing so much. We are juggling kids. We're juggling homes. We're juggling dinners, all the things. And just to do more is exhausting. We want just talk to more people, just make more phone calls, just do more open houses, send more DMs, and just kind of hope something sticks. If we're busy, we're successful. If we're not busy, we're not successful. I think that's a lot. Like we talk about this a lot in Moms in Real Estate. It's not about hustling 24/7. It's about finding a balance in what life works for us. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words today. What kind of life works best for us? The result of all of this is burnout, busy work, and not predictable growth. So example that I had first year, this happened to me in real estate, was I was told to make 50 calls a day. Like just talk to 50 people a day, you'll get business. But with kids, with life happening, I didn't hit 50 that first day. And so being the overachiever that I am, I'm like, okay, I'll just add the remaining 15 to the next day. I'll talk to 65 people the next day. Guess who didn't talk to 65 people the next day? That was me. So I added it to the next day. And then by the end of the week, I was over 100 phone calls. And guess who didn't make 100 phone calls? I couldn't even hit 50. I couldn't hit 100. And so I just got overwhelmed and weighed down where I'm like, I'm never going to be able to be good at this. I can't master this. So it is not just a numbers game. It is about the right numbers that we focus on. So that's what leads me to the truth is it's about the right numbers. You do the right things. You want to track your numbers, focus on quality over quantity. You use your data and your feedback. You use your numbers to diagnose what you're doing and not just a scorecard of how you're doing. And it measures your growth through conversion and chaos. What I love about tracking numbers is that numbers are black and white and they don't lie. They tell you exactly in black and white how you're doing that day. If it's a 0, it's a 0. If it's a 1, it's a 1. If it's a 2, it's a 2. But it doesn't have any emotion tied to it. What happens is we, as agents, tie our emotions to these numbers, and we judge our worth based on those numbers. And we all know as moms, like, our worth is so much than just a number. So the results in having the right numbers in place is that you're going to have that clarity, that focus, and you're going to be able to have predictable results to scale and grow from. So leading to that mindset with the right numbers, this is what I call the measured mindset. And the goal isn't to get more people in your pipeline, it's to have measurable progress. You make it, hang on. It's a small shift in how you think, but it makes a huge difference in how you approach your business. Having that mindset of, if I track the right numbers, I'm not trying to hit 50, I'm not trying to hit 100. How do I track the right numbers for the type of business that I want to lead? And so that leads me to what I landed on after kind of lots of chaos, because during COVID, really, honestly, all we had to do was pick up the phone, right? You had to pay your phone bill and pick up the phone, and you'd sell a home. Homes were selling like before they even hit the market. So after that, like when the market turned, when was it? June, July of 23, market started turning, phone stopped ringing constantly. I had to find a new cadence because honestly, I got used to kind of sitting back and waiting for my phone to ring. So what did that cadence look like? 50 calls a day was not the cadence I wanted to settle into. So what I settled into was something that I call the 512. It would help me build a predictable pipeline. And those numbers I'm going to break down for you guys. So the predictable pipeline system, what I call the 512, is the first number is 5. And what I define 5 as is connect with 5 new people a week to add to your database. These are fresh new conversations that keep your pipeline alive. And what I define as a contact is a full name, real phone number, and real email that people will respond to. That is just it. That's it. 5 in every single week. Hit this number, add it to your database. However you want to get these leads. Open houses are my kind of jam, so I go to those. You can also do cold calls. You can do door knocking. You can do expireds, whatever you choose and what you're really, really good at. Connect with those 5 new people and get the permission to add them to your database to follow up with them. That's the first number. Next number. Oh, here's all the lead sources I put on here. If you have any other ones, go ahead and think of those. Sorry, these are usually interactive. I can't hear anybody. So that's 5. Next up is the 1. 1 is a lender connection. And this is how you can collaborate with your trusted lender, and this is how you multiply your effort. Most lenders that I know have incredible systems in place. So shout out to you if you guys are a lender out there, but you guys have systems that we as agents dream of where you track every single number. Anybody that comes into your pipeline, you kind of nurture in that way. So how I leverage that is every week I make a commitment to introduce one client or lead to a lender. Simple as that. Whoever I meet through open houses, if there's an opportunity to connect them with a lender, absolutely will. If I don't get that lender connect through open houses, I'm reaching out to my database to say, like, who can I talk to that could use a lender connect? And this is through even refinances, because right now we're seeing that rates are lower than they've been in the last 2 years. I'm connecting them with my lender to refinance their mortgage. It's a way to keep that pipeline going. And in turn, like if you're talking to a client about doing a refi, you have an opportunity to ask for a referral. I've picked up a couple of referrals just by doing a refinance. You wouldn't think that's a lead source, but that absolutely is. You're showing value to a past client, getting them refinanced, and they might have somebody else that's looking to buy or sell as well. So leveraging that is the next one. And then finally, the 2 is 2 new appointments every week. You book 2 real estate appointments every week from any lead gen source that you're having that week. So from your open houses, from your follow-up, from your door knocking, anyone that you're meeting with, book 2 new appointments. Appointments meaning you're sitting down with somebody with the end goal of a written signed listing agreement or written buyer broker. So, oh, sorry, Randy, I see your mouth moving. So
I was telling my son goodbye. He's heading out the door.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll come off for you.
Oh, you're good. So this is what it is. So 2 new appointments every week. Confirmed appointments, get them on your calendar, because that is the goal with the journey that we have with all of our leads, is that meet and greet. We want to ultimately get them to that conversation of, do we want to work together or not? And appointments being the next step in the process, this is where your conversations start to gain momentum in the next step. This is how you get to a closing. You don't just hope for the best. This is where you have control over that next step in your timeline. So, or in your pipeline. So what does this look like? You got 5 new contacts, 5 new friends every single week that you're meeting, 1 new lender connection, and then 2 new appointments every week. A note on this is that you can start your week whenever you want. Like it doesn't have to be Sunday through Saturday. I actually run my week, my 5-1-2 week from Wednesday to Tuesday. And the reason that I do that is because if I do my open houses on weekends, and so if I don't hit my 5 that weekend, guess what I'm doing on Monday and Tuesday? I'm calling people to see who else I can add to my pipeline. How do I hit the 5 this week? And that's how it restarts. And the second greatest part about this is you start at 0 every single week. Every Wednesday I wake up and it's 0. If I didn't hit 5 the previous week, guess what? It's not 6 this week. It starts at 0 again. If I went over the previous week and added 7, I start at 0 again. And that keeps me from that like snowball effect of, hey, I didn't hit 5, I'm going to hit 10 next week. And then I never achieve that. So this keeps it really simple for me, and it's achievable, and it's not as overwhelming of a number. Like 5 new friends, I can make 5 new friends every single week. And so this is not about having like being perfect or grinding harder. It's about having just a clear, repeatable target that keeps your business in motion, even when life is repeatable. So I've gone to open houses before we're on the weekend. Like I hit the 5 and I'm like, I'm good. I did it. I did it for the week, and I can actually breathe. But I know that this is my target every single week to hit. So if questions come up, will people will it pop up? Sorry, guys, I didn't ask that.
Yep, we'll pop them up, and
Okay.
we usually hold them for the end as well, so we'll have them there also.
Awesome. Thanks, Randy. So that's the 5-1-2 pipeline. Myth 3 that we lead into with this is that I need to hustle 24/7. The goal, the beauty of 5-1-2 is that it's not more people, it's that measurable progress. Your success that we define in hustle culture, I call this hustle porn in our industry, where your success comes from outworking everybody. I worked harder than you. I stayed up until midnight grinding. I did all this, blah, 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 blah. You get no breaks. You get no boundaries. You just get more exhausted. And it runs on adrenaline instead of systems. I don't know what it is about this culture of like, hey, we just got to grind, grind, grind. I don't want to. I just don't want to. I don't think anyone else there wants to either. But we want to, my worth actually, what I've redefined it is by having the peace of being present truly in life. And we're constantly grinding, trying to think of our next deal. We're not able to be present. And so that's something that I've chased. And the result of hustle culture is that there's burnout, inconsistency, and resentment towards the business that you built. I'll tell you, I tried to quit real estate mentally the first year, probably every single week. Every week I wanted to leave and wondered what I was doing. And there's still some days now where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But this kind of takes that out of it because I'm like, I love this industry and what we're able to do from it. So the truth of this is it's just you need that rhythm that works, that 5-1-2, that rhythm cycle, whatever system that you settle into. It comes from having a rhythm in life with clear targets, and it creates that space for your family, your fitness, your focus, and your growth becomes compounding. It measures worth by your alignment in what you are doing and not necessarily the exact activities that you are doing. So the result of this is predictable closings, a sustainable energy, and a life that you actually end up loving. Hang on, I'm going to shut this door real quick. Sorry, dogs came in. So the result of this is that you're going to have a life that you actually love. If you hit your 5-1-2 every single week, your business will continue to grow. And how do I know that? You don't need to do more. You need to repeat what works. And I can show you guys kind of the math behind this. So the math behind the 5-1-2, this is proof that that rhythm beats the hustle culture that we have. So every week, if you make 5 new contacts, and let's just say you want to work 40 weeks out of the year, and you take 3 whole months off, right? You get 200 contacts in a year. 200 is a lot of new friends to add to your system. And let's just say you're making your one lender connect every single week. That's 40 connections a year that you're making to your lender to leverage that system as well. And finally, 2 new appointments a week. Just for 40 weeks out of the year, you've got 80 appointments in a year. 80 opportunities to sit down with a buyer or seller to get a signed agreement. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to close all 80. But here's the magic of it is, if you are holding 80 appointments at a 50% conversion, you're getting 40 signed agreements. And let's just say 50% of those follow through, you've got 20 closings. And let's just say in the 20 closings here in Arizona, our average price point is $450. Average commission is around 2.5, which is about $11,250. With 20 closings, you're making $225,000 a year. I don't know about you, but I can survive on $225,000 a year. I can even go to Disney a couple times on $225,000 a year. So that to me is a business that I can survive and I can live with that. I have no dreams of closing millions and millions of dollars of deals because honestly, I don't want the life that comes with that. I want to see my kids. I want to be present for spring break. I want to go on vacation. I want to be here to read to them at night, to have dinner with them. And so this is the cadence that I've kind of settled on. So with this math, like if you want to go higher, work on your conversion rate. That's the beauty of this too, is you can see where the conversion gaps are and you can work on that. With these 80 appointments, I have actually, my conversion rate is closer to like 75 at this point. So when I sit down, I know 75% of the time I'm going to sign them. So I get to work the exact same amount, but I've worked on my conversion. So I'm more efficient at that. So I can close more homes in that way. So when you start tracking your numbers, you can see this, you can see where your gaps are, and you can see what do I need to follow up on. So say you signed 40 agreements and less than 50% have followed through. Okay, cool. I need to work on my follow-up system. What do I need to tighten up about that so that I get 50% of those people closing? So when you have numbers, you can have a predictable business and a predictable system. So I put a check mark there. I automated that. So these small, consistent actions over time beat those huge bursts. So I've been there because my first year in real estate, I would just sit on the couch for a week being sad, watching SVU because it was what I did. And then I would just go all out. I'd sit there all week and grind. I get a deal. I'd spend all my time working that deal, and then I would close the deal and then sit on the couch again for another week. Guess what? The bills come every single month. I don't have the luxury of taking that time off every single month. So this is how you can stay consistent, and you know kind of where your next deal is coming from, because these people that you've signed, these 40 signed agreements that you have, continue to nurture them over time. They're going to turn into closings for you. So, and with this, you're already closer than you think. You've already proven that you can do hard things. You guys know how to build trust. You guys know how to have the conversations. You know how to help people find home. This is just a structure that gives your system a rhythm so that your effort can finally start compounding. We don't need to chase the next big thing. I see right now there's so many people trying to sell things in real estate. Like, I'm going to sell you leads. I'm going to sell you blah, blah, blah. I don't know what else they're selling these days. I declined those phone calls, but I know leads right now in real estate are averaging around $25 to $75 a lead. That's really, really expensive. And so, but if you're able to do this in a way and find a lead source that works for you and continue to repeat it, it's going to result in a business that's predictable for you. You don't need to be perfect, and you just need to keep showing up on purpose. When you meet a lead, remember that process that they're walking through to get them to that appointment, and then hold the appointment, and then do it again, week after week after week. Hit the 5, hit the 1, hit the 2. And that's going to result in some business coming forward for you. So this is actually then, I talked so fast today, guys. So it doesn't have to end today. Like with this information, don't let it fade when you walk out. There's a tracker here that I have. It's a simple tracker for a 512. If you scan this code, it's going to be a tool for you guys to start tracking numbers to actually move your business forward. I do teach an open house class. That's my chosen lead gen source. And so there's a class on there. And then I do have Instagram as well on my agent Chrissy. I have a lot of agent tips on there as well. So now I guess I open up for questions.
Yes. And while we're getting those, go ahead, Kristen. Did you have one?
Oh, I didn't have one.
Okay. So I just, Chrissy, we are so similar. So I run a 6-5-4-3-2-1. And so I had set my metrics that same way. So my agents, and I think this is something that's really, really important to know, is there's like a million right ways you can do it, but sometimes that's the overwhelming way.
Yeah.
And when you can simplify it. So even for myself, like I have a 100-point day that gives my agents the freedom to like craft their day however their life needs it to. But for me, same like you, I was like, oh wait, I need like my specifics. But what I will tell you that I love is that I think you simplified it even further, and that's where the magic is. Because mine, I know that like 3 was 3 days a week of power hour, and then 1 was like 1 client event, and all of a sudden I would get caught up in the trying to figure out, did I hit the 6-5-4-3-2-1? So I love that you brought it down to just like 2 or 3, and then you tied it to that conversion. It's so simple, and I feel like the simpler we can make things as moms, the easier it is for us to execute.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah, I want to know too, Mindy. 6-5-4-3.
So it was 6 agent appointments. I'm obviously in the agent business. So 6 agent appointments, 5 database additions. So we were the same there. 4 sent to lending, 3 days of successful power hour, 2 client appointments. So whether that was a buyer's consult or a listing, and then 1 event, either in person or virtual. That was my 6-5-4-3-2-1, which I still am supposed to be doing, but I think I've overwhelmed myself because there's like those different ones. So when you were doing this, I was like, Randy, why are you running but my head was like, take off, 6-5. Anyways. So I love this. I love that it's just simpler.
Well, and I think that the biggest thing too is like you guys are saying, there's so many different ways to do this. And this is just so nice if you're like, I'm going to stick with this and I'm going to build the muscle so that it's like, I know I'm doing this every week. And then it's not as much like, oh my gosh, like, it's just like, you guys probably don't even have to track it anymore because it's so natural for you to do the activities.
And I think that's the beauty of systems too, Randy. Even with yours, is like you rattled that off the top of your head. You know exactly what metrics you need to hit every single week. And that's, as agents, what I think is so important, because I've trained so many brand new agents who are like, just tell me what to do. And they'll be off making the social media posts, doing the open house, doing the cold calls, doing all the things, but really getting nowhere because they were spinning their reels. They had no idea what the goal was to hit. And then they'd get a deal and then they'd work the whole deal, spend their whole lives on the deal. And when that deal fell apart, they had no business.
Yeah.
And so that goes back to that system.
Yeah,
So
Randy,
for you. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Mindy said, and share the 100-point day. Mindy, it's really good. I love her 100-point day. I'll send it to you.
I want to hear about the 100-point day too, Randy.
Yeah, so we can do that one day, but I built it for my agents so that wherever they are, we have leading indicators, lagging, and so we have like like no matter their season, if they're brand new or they're highly established, they can hit that 100 points. And they goal set quarterly. So basically each quarter they decide how many 100 points they're going to have for that quarter based off of their season of life. So I had the one that was like pregnant. And so obviously she's not going to have 5 days a week where she's hitting 100 points. Yeah. So winning that quarter for her, we just, we set a stack goal and then we track that. But I want to ask you something, Chrissy.
Okay.
So again, agents are kind of, like you said, we overcomplicate things. We add too many things. So how are you tracking this? So are you just like doing a mental note that like, okay, I've got my things, or have you actually created a tracker? How's that working?
I do have a tracker. It's actually downloadable on this code right here. If you scan it, it just opens to a Google page for you. And it's already coded out, figured out for you. So you can track every week, 5, 1, 2, did I hit the numbers or not? And I actually made it myself. And so the sheet lights up if you hit your numbers.
Oh, I love that.
Really proud of that. So, because
you and I are the same human. I'm like, when you put the formula in and then it just automatically, so I track us, and when it's green, I'm like, it's green. Like,
yes. Yeah. So that's how I track it. And then also, like, I'm to the point now, I've been doing this for 2-3 years where I know every week where I need to go. Like, I need to meet 5 new people every single week, whatever that looks like. And so when I'm at open houses, and I actually only hold open houses 1 or 2 times a week at this point, but when I'm out there, I'm adding these leads to my database. Like, I need to hit 5. If I don't hit 5, guess where I'm sitting the next day? Right. Or guess what I'm doing the next day? I'm out there trying to find 5 new people that will give me the opportunity to earn their trust and confidence as a real estate agent.
So you're building that muscle. And I think, Chrissy, this ties to this question we have, like, how long will it take a new agent to build this way?
You can start it next week. You can start making 5 new friends every single week. Ultimately, I think, like, as a new agent, what you need to do is to go out there and find leads. Like, that's the one problem that you have in real estate, is getting leads. So go out there and meet 5 new friends a week. It's not 50 conversations a day, because as a new agent, I remember how overwhelming that is. I remember telling an agent too, just go make 50 calls. You make it sound so easy, right? Just go do it. And you can't. They're like, well, what do I do? How do I do that? But when you set the metric at 5, like, it's just 1 new friend every single day that I can achieve, and I can still live my life. Hey, I made a new friend today. Great. I'm going to add them to my database. Made a new friend that day. I'm going to add that to my database. Maybe today I have 2 friends, but that takes that pressure off. And so when you start building this, you'll be so surprised. I remember the first time that somebody said, yes, I do want to buy a house. I'm like, no way you do. Like, that wasn't in my script. Answer me like that. But you'll be surprised. If you make 5 new contacts a week in your first month as a real estate agent, you're making 20 new contacts in that first month. And with that, go ahead.
I was going to say, one hack that I did that like really helped me was, like, I love coffee and I love coffee shops. So my tracking was, I wanted 2 coffee appointments 5 days a week. And so I was like, I'm already going to be like in a coffee shop working or whatever. Why wouldn't I spend 45, to 60 minutes 2 different times throughout the day and meet new people? And I feel like that is literally how I built my business. And it was just like doing something I enjoyed. So if you're dreading it, you're not going to do it. But if you're like, oh, I love the idea of sitting and having coffee with somebody, make it something that's enjoyable.
Absolutely. And then it's those little bites too, Kristen. I love that you said that, just 2 a day. 2 a day is so much easier, because I think we look at it like, I want to close, like, let's just say you want to close 20 deals your first year. That's great. That sounds huge. That's a huge overwhelming number, like 2 deals a month, like 24 deals a year. That sounds huge. But when we take it down to like a simple number, like two, it's so simple. It's easy. And I call it taking bites of the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah. Well, I think this next question kind of piggybacks on what Mindy said. So Mindy said, we need to stop telling agents they won't make money for 6 months. What kind of job would you take that you didn't get paid for 6 months? And the next question was, I love the thought of not waiting 6 months, but how do I get them from hello to real estate?
Get them from hello. That's where you start tracking. Those numbers help too. How many conversations are you having too? That's another kind of system that I track, is the number of conversations I have and then the number of conversions I get from that. And it's having the skill to have those conversion conversations. Because I was really good at the beginning on I made so many friends, guys. Like, I will tell you, I knew their kids' names, I knew their dogs' names, I knew their restaurants, I knew their favorite color, and then they would walk out the door.
Right.
And I never did anything about that. I'm like, well, they really, really like me. They have my business card, they're going to call me. They didn't call me, and they gave me a fake number. So what's the skill set that we have? When you remember that path that I had back on one of these slides, and I can go back to that one too. Let me figure out how to go backwards. Where is it? This one. When you have this kind of conversation, you know where that conversation is supposed to lead. So the hello is the meet and greet. The rapport is what a lot of us agents are really good at. And us as moms are really good at this too, because we can make friends with anybody. At the playground, at the coffee shop, at the grocery store. Rapport is great, but then the fact that we need to hone in on is our value proposition. Why should people work with you? What do you have to offer them to solve whatever problem they have? And every agent should be able to rattle this off 10 seconds or less. And so working on your skill set at that point will increase your conversion from contact to appointment set.
Yeah. So good. And I think one of the things that Chrissy's saying that is so important for us to really live by is, going deeper is so much more important than going wide, right? And so, like, don't be the agent that's trying to do all the things, do a couple things really, really well. And that's how you dialed in that value proposition, right? Like, it is a very simple system, but you have to have some intentionality around what she's saying. So it's like, you have to understand, where do I want to meet and greet, right? And for you, that's heavily open houses. So, those people obviously are going to be a little bit more apt and able to have that real estate conversation. So you need to think about where am I going to have that? And what is that flow going to look like? Because if you're making all those relationships, like you said, Chrissy, at the playground, obviously that's probably going to be a longer time until we're actually having a real estate conversation. So what would you say as far as intentionality, when they sit down and do this, should they just kind of visualize what they want that to look like? Or what are your thoughts there?
I think you map out that conversation and I would test all the lead gen sources. Honestly, when you're new in real estate, try them all and see which one's going to work for you. And you're right, Randy, somebody you meet at the playground that is not necessarily looking to buy or sell right now is a longer conversion time frame. I love open houses for this, because people are literally walking through your front door looking to do something with real estate. And so being able to navigate that conversation, that rapport and trust building looks very different for different lead gen sources too. The type of questions that you ask to kind of gain their story, the type of questions you ask to go deeper. And I love that you said that. Let's go real deep. Let's not just do surface. Let's go deep on these conversations so that we can drop a value proposition that's going to fit their situation and fit their scenario. So they're more likely to say yes to you. So I don't know if Randy froze. I think she froze.
I lost you for a second. I missed all the good stuff, Chrissy. I'm going to have to come back and watch that. But what I was thinking as you were talking and I could hear you, the one thing I was thinking is it sounds like it would be a really smart next step for all the agents that are excited and dropping comments and asking questions to see what that open house class that you have coming up is like, because I think, again, if you could just master that open house, the conversion would probably be pretty similar to what you're saying. And that would be something that, again, when we find things that are proven and tested and we just implement them, we really can shortcut our success. And it sounds like that would be a great way for them to shortcut that.
I agree with that. I built my business off open houses. So my first year in real estate, I sat open houses 3 to 5 days a week. I was lugging the big signs. I had the rocks in my car because I didn't figure out what signs I wanted to use yet. So they were slamming in the back of my RAV4 driving around. But I held those open houses 3 to 5 days a week. And I would stop at rapport building. I would just stop at rapport building because I didn't know what else to do next. And we don't teach that. And so when it came to wanting to create a course, I wanted to take everything that I learned and made mistakes doing from real estate to teach agents this so that they don't have to cry in their car and watch SVU and eat pizza. They can, but they
Although
don't.
SVU is so good, Chrissy. Why would
Super good, I
anybody
know.
not want to watch SVU? I'm like 30 years in at this point. Chrissy, can you give us just an example of like what?
Real quick, I have a text message. What's the 4, Randy? What's the 4?
The 4 is scintillating. Scintillating.
Scintillating.
Yeah. So Chrissy, can you give us an example? Like, so if somebody wants to, they're like, okay, I love this system. I want to run Chrissy's system here. And then I want to also go to her open house class. But they're already like overthinking it. What is a value proposition they could do?
For their clients? Oh, so one that
my cell phone is lost, so I don't know where it is. One of my grandkids took it and it's ringing. That's why I'm muted. But the value, like what is a value proposition if they're doing open houses? Like, because I feel like this is where one of the number one things we hear coming out of our group is like, no, there's so many moms that are happy to do the open house, but it's like setting themselves apart, getting that to actually, be a fruitful conversation and making traction is where they're struggling.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense because we work through value propositions in my class. Actually, it's more of a conversion class. Like, how do you get from point A to point B through that class? And so we work a lot of value propositions. A really popular one we're using these days is one for first-time home buyers. And so the structure of a value proposition is I help blank, your target audience, achieve blank, whatever their problem is, through blank, whatever your solution is. So I can repeat that again. I help blank achieve blank by blank. And so to fill in those gaps, I help first-time home buyers navigate the home buying process by sitting down with them with a personalized custom buyer consult. That's it.
So good. And that's going to it's not going to speak to everyone that comes in. Like, you might not speak to the one-off that is like the husband and wife randomly looking and thinking about downsizing, but you are going to speak to the person that you're developing that muscle and that mastery for. So I love that, Chrissy.
And we actually work through in class. We build a bank of value propositions because, like you said, Randy, the value prop that you use now isn't going to work with the value prop of somebody else. So I remember when I started real estate, like I had to memorize a value prop and get up and recite it to people. I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, this is a blanket value prop that's not going to work for everybody. It was like, I have the system, I blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember it anymore. But whoever you're standing in front of, your first-time home buyer value props can be very different than your downsizing home value prop. And it has to look different because they have different problems. They have different struggles. And what we work through, one of the exercises we do in class is we identify your niche, your target audience, and then what are their pain points and what solutions do you have to solve for all of those? And we craft those together into like, you have a bank of value props. So whoever comes into your open house, you can drop that value prop when you feel the moment to do so. And we talk about that too. Like, when is the right time to drop a value prop? Because when someone comes and says, hi, I'm not going, hey, I'm Chrissy. I help first-time home buyers through this process. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. So,
well, let me just tell you that, so open houses also were part of the jam that I use to like build my business. But I have to say that I'm like already intrigued about your open house class because it sounds much more like skill set mastery than it does like, this is how to have a mega open house and have a taco truck and do all the things. And so I'll be honest, and maybe it's just because I've been in the business so long, but when I hear open house, like my mind just immediately goes to those. So ladies, if you take anything from this, understand what she's talking about with this open house class. And Chrissy, you can correct me. I'm sure there's going to be like ideas and things on like how to do them, how to choose them. But it sounds like it's going to be much more skill building on like how to actually have the right conversations so that you don't just waste a Saturday afternoon that is so important to your family to have awkward contacts that go nowhere.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we do. I've been told I've run this class 4 times. I have agents tell me this is more of a conversion class. You probably need to rebrand it as a conversion class. And I'm like, I love open houses. I'm going to call it open house class. But the skills that you learn in this class can actually be applied to any lead gen source that you have when you meet them. Like, how do you, like class 1, I'll break down the class. So first week we talk about foundations. How do you set up an open house? Like you said, Randy, how do you find an open house? Not all open houses are created the same. This is, again, from Chrissy's mistakes when she, maybe selected one too deep in the neighborhood and ran out of open house signs. Yes, that has happened to me. But it's, how do you set up an open house? How do you prepare for the open house? You don't show up on Friday and decide that I'm going to do an open house on Saturday. You're already behind. You start earlier and you prep for that. And then week 2, we talk about value props. How do you ask for an appointment? How do you drop a value proposition? How do you make an ask for an appointment? And then week 3, we talk about objections. And week 4, we talk about how do we wrap this up and how do we scale this? from this point. And so it's really that journey that we walk through, that agents that come out of that class have a different foundation. It's a foundation that I wished I had when I started in real estate. So, because then I wouldn't have spent so much time crying, but.
Well, I love this, and I know that Kristen obviously gets to know a lot of our moms being in the same market, but I'm excited that I got to meet you, and I just couldn't agree with the way that you're building. I always tell agents, like, you're going to have pain somewhere. It's better to have it in building the right way than it is to, you know, have it when you're 2.5 years in and you realize you don't want to do the cold leads anymore, and now you have to try to pivot and build your business then, right?
100%. I absolutely agree with that. So
love that, Chrissy. What's the best way? So I know you had your QR code here, and I know we'll be putting it, but if somebody just wants to reach out to you right away, is that your Instagram, or what's the best way to connect?
I would reach out to me through Instagram. Let me get to that back slide again. I don't know where it is. Sorry, I put a lot of clickies in here, but you can find me on Instagram at myazagent.Chrissy. And then I do have a website. It's chrissyvalentine.com. There's more stuff on the class on there. And there's actually an interactive, like, rate your open house quiz on there too. So I just added
I love that.
week, so you can rate kind of how you're doing at open houses. Oh.
Well, I love that. Kristen, do you have anything else for Chrissy before we wrap up?
No, I just think, you know, I talk to agents all the time that are definitely having that conversion problem inside their open houses. So I just think this class is going to be so, so good for them.
Yeah. So good. So thank you, Chrissy. Thanks for pouring into our moms in real estate. And we can't wait for you to offer that open house class soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.